Previously on Flockin's Necroparlor, link in the description below. There you can see me make a mess, skin out this redtail boa, and accompanying veiled chameleon, and then we dip it in the secret sauce, which is just 1 part glycerin and 1 part 70% isopropyl alcohol. Shake it up, give it a mix. Submerge the skins in it. Close up the bag, stir it around a little bit, and that's it. We're good to move on to step 2. Alright, in order to spread our tanned skins, we're going to need a few things. Need our skins, glycerin, thumbtacks, paper towels, a pair of gloves, staples, and staple gun. And last but not least, our spread board. Slap these gloves on. Put our staples in the staple gun. You are going to want the least powerful staple gun you can find and the smallest staples you can get away with in order to do this. Also, you're going to need the correct size staples in order for this to work for your staple gun. Alright, ready to go. I'm going to take these skins out. I already drained the liquid that was in there before. Pat them dry. Just get all the gooey, liquidy stuff off of them. Let's start with the big boa skin. Pat, pat, pat. This is a silent video because I was blasting music in the background, but you get the idea. Pat, pat, pat. Pat it down. Patting make sure you get both sides. Had to kind of turn it inside out to finish the rest. This should be good. So let's lay it out on the board, give it a sizing. Remember, the skin will be stretched, so the board does have to be considerably wider and longer than the skin you're working on. All the way to the tail. I didn't skin out the tail correctly. I kind of degloved the end of it so it makes a little pocket. Let's see how well this spreads out. Glycerin gets on everything, so dry it thoroughly. I'm going to stick a pin in the nose just to get it started. Give it something to grab to. Hammer it in a little bit. Thumbtacks break easily, so I'm not going to whack it too hard. I also have the bottom lips there. Now let's see how far we can stretch it. Just pull gently. Don't rip the skin away from those thumbtacks. I think we can get started. I will start at the top, 1 on each side, just to get the base notches in there. It is slippery and gross, so kind of use the staple gun to push that skin out. Know exactly where that staple is going to land and hit the edge. Kerchunk, good hit. Alright, from there, go a few inches down, find the next spot you want to staple, pull and stretch. Kind of, my chest camera isn't picking up on this, but you'll see in a second. See, I went a couple inches down, made a little saddle shape. And then I'm going to grab the patch of skin directly across from that, staple that down too. Sliding outwards with the staple gun again. Alright, that leaves a little stretch in the middle. So when you grab that and pull it out, that'll stretch that middle part out more than if you just went straight down the line. It'll be more clear in a minute as we get into the groove of things. Must have missed, so an extra staple just in case. This snake skin is kind of small and thin, so there's a good chance that I'm just punching right through it and the staples aren't holding it so much as shooting a hole through it. Okay, I've done a few more now. So as you can see, I go down a little ways, I pull and I stretch just a little bit, and then I pull those, and then I pull to the side, stretching it wide. When I'm happy with that placement, I staple one side. Pull directly across from that, staple the other side. This one, you can definitely see that saddle shape between the staples. And then I do 2 or 3 staples on those saddles to widen it out. Or 3, or 4, or whatever. As you can see, mine is not going perfect, and it doesn't have to be super perfect, because you'll see in the end exactly what we do to make it nice and straight. Sometimes I get staples going every which way. Skip forward a few more, stretching out the saddle. Speed this one up a little bit. Like I said, once you get in the groove, you kind of feel it out. It's not terribly difficult, just a little time consuming, depending on how large your snake is. Alright, as I got near the tail, because like I said, it wasn't cut out properly and it was more degloved, I don't want to put as many holes in this tail. I kind of like the idea of the tail tanning with a little pocket inside of it. I'm imagining like if you made a scabbard for a tiny little dagger, you could fit your little knife in there. Oh, the ever-present and important Diet Mountain Dew makes an appearance. Stick a thumbtack in the very end just to hold it. Looks like this was just like a 1x6 board I got at the hardware store. Super expensive nowadays. Post-pandemic wood is insane. Weirdly enough, I think this was filmed pre-pandemic. Missing a tattoo there on my arm, so it's been a while. The next step is controversial. I've seen people do this, and I've seen people swear by it, and I've heard other people not do it, and they swear by it. But adding extra glycerin to the skin. Some people say it helps the tanning process and it keeps it nice, and I don't know. I've always done this. But then I heard someone else argue that they didn't do it and it makes no difference on the final product. I haven't done it without glycerin yet, but I should next time, because really the glycerin just increases the drying time by a ton. Glycerin is not water. It takes forever to dry. So I'll test that next time. But for now, this one had glycerin. Might help keep the flies away. I don't know. It will keep it dry. Like I said, it's not water. It will dry it, but it takes a long time for the tackiness to go away. Next, we'll try the skin from the chameleon. Now this one is so thin, there's no way I'm going to be able to use a staple gun on this, so I'm just going to add these teeny tiny tacks. Smack them in with the hammer. I cut out a lot more of this footage, but it was basically the same. Pull, stretch, tack, then fill in the saddles, just on a much tinier scale. As you can see, chameleons, they lose a lot of color when they die. They mostly become black and white, honestly. And then I dabbed a little bit of glycerin on that one as well. While I have space on this board, let's also pull out the bearded dragon. This is the bearded dragon from my most viewed video of all time, the YouTube video of the bearded dragon getting eaten by domestic beetles. Looks like this is the skin from his back. Bearded dragon skin is thicker, obviously, because of the tough scales, but the skin was actually really thin, and I didn't want to bust it, so again, thumbtacks. This piece is the actual beard from the beardy. It looks like on the bottom there is the belly skin, and the belly skin I did staple kind of in a circle. Stretch, staple, glycerin. Looks like I did the tail piece too. I was able to fit all 3 of these reptiles on this one board. And that's it. It's done. I just set it aside. Set it in the garage. Wait for it to dry. Whenever the tackiness from that glycerin goes away, it should be good. So this is some days or a week or 2 later. Nice and dry. Kind of scraping some of the whatever tissues might be left. Should have been done before this point, but there's always a little something left on there to cut out or scrape off. Peeling those little bits. Alright, I'll start by taking the pins out. And the secret is you just cut it. Take the sharpest knife you have and cut long, straight lines on the inside of all those staples. And it'll come out in one solid piece without frayed edges. Now it has to be a pretty strong, even pressure to make sure you're cutting through the skin. All the way up to that lip. I just start from the middle because it has a lot of support there from the staples. It'd be hard to start from the end. You can see I'm kind of cutting skiwampus all crooked like because those staples are sticking out every which direction, but the cut is still, it'll still be nice and mostly straight. You'll see it here in the end. Cutting down, meeting in the middle. There's always like a piece that you missed, so I gotta go back and find those spots. You can see it's practically paper thin. Release that tail and it should be done. There we go. And that's it. Release the face. There we go. Redtail boa skin. One thing I'm really bad at is descaling. So ideally you've descaled before this. I usually never do, so I got scales flaking off. Doesn't really bother me. But that's it, tan snake skin. Let's cut out the rest. Wait, we don't cut these ones out, we just pull those out. We just pull out the thumbtacks. Sometimes they require a little coaxing with the hammer. A lot of them break, actually. It's really annoying. There's the beard. Got the beard. With the spikes and everything. Lizards are really hard to skin, guys. I wish I could have gotten this whole lizard in one piece, but realistically, I'm happy I got it in this as many pieces as I did. See the back of the dragon there? As compared to where his beard would go. Make a little 3D mock-up on how that beardy lived. And the chameleon came out in more or less one piece. You can see his little arms and legs and the jaw or the lower lip. Chameleon skins are just not as impressive in death as they are in life. I'm really proud of how this belly skin came out. If you've ever had a bearded dragon and seen their belly, I love it. And the tail piece. We can recreate about 80% of this animal. Folding up the tail, adding it to the body. Little picture for Instagram. I don't even have that phone anymore. This is an old video. I did have a little tear in there, but you know, I'm not a perfect skinner yet. That's it. That's this batch. I think it'd be interesting to do a little taxidermy rat that's armored himself with some bearded dragon leather. Please like this video if you've learned something, and make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more. Special thanks to the members of my Patreon who make videos like this possible, without whom I probably would have given up on content creation by now, so thank you again.